The AEW Revolution main event is getting a do-over. Plus, a major free agent makes their debut with AEW, and we have a backstage update on a recent WWE title change. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. AEW Revolution, Toni Storm versus Mariah May. Ding.
Big ding.
Will Ospreay versus Carl Fletcher. Billy Goat ding.
A big Billy Goat ding indeed.
Mox versus Cope. So which match do they choose to redo on Dynamite next week?
Would that be the AEW World Title match then?
It might just be in a rematch from their critically panned main event from Revolution. Adam Copeland gets another opportunity at the AEW World Title. He faces Jon Moxley next week in the main event of Dynamite. Only this time it'll be a street fight as opposed to a regular one-on-one match. And whoever leaves that match as AEW World Champion will defend the belt against Swerve Strickland Dynasty. I believe the phrase, Andrew, is a mulligan.
Yeah.
I think that's what they call it. You know, have another go.
In the golf.
You know, when you're playing mini golf with your dad and
yes.
you have a rubbish first strike and he goes, I'm going to look away and you can have another go.
You can have another go. What do you reckon? What do you think?
Well, it can't be much worse than the one that we saw. I mean, and you know, and it's. I think the frustration is that you had some great matches on that show that could have potentially gone on last. Mariah May and Toni Storm, for me, absolutely should have been the main event of the evening.
Yeah, I think with everything, especially with the presentation with the end on the Tron as as that match sort of came to its conclusion, I thought that would have been really fitting to end the show as a whole. I'm wondering, obviously, there was a lot of fan backlash, as has been spoken about that Moxley and Cope World Title match and the way it ended. And maybe this is a way to obviously rectify that. But then with it being a street fight, and even Jay White was saying some stuff last night on Dynamite that makes me believe it's not going to be as clean cut of a match finish either. I think there's still going to be shenanigans in some way or another of how this one ends. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the street fight allows them to maybe pick up the pace from the match that they had from the pay-per-view, hopefully. Yeah. Jesus. And I think it also gives Cope an out should he take a pinfall loss here.
Damn it, just do it clean.
I think since he's come back, someone shared a video online, Adam Copeland / Cope / Steve has lost 8 matches.
Yes.
All with somewhat dodgy finishes to them.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see how, because you know what, the build and some of the promos and stuff that both of them did in the lead up to that match at Revolution were quite good, and it felt as though they were really going to go all out against one another, be a little bit more violent than sort of what we saw at Revolution. So maybe this is a way to rectify that too and actually get the match that we were hoping to get, at least anyway.
Maybe. We're going to find out next week. But last night finally happened. We saw the debut of a free agent that's been circling AEW for quite some time, and we are happy to see him.
We are. Speedball Mike Bailey is indeed all elite, everybody. So after months of speculation about his future since departing TNA, Bailey appeared as the wild card in the AEW Eliminator Tournament and picked up a win over the Beast Mortos to advance. It was a really, really good match as well. Shortly after Speedball got the brick wall picture and the official word from Tony Khan that he had signed officially with AEW. Lovely stuff. A really fun match as well. I think Beast Mortos was the right person to put him up against too, because they played off one another beautifully. What a debut. And everybody was buzzing to see him as well. As soon as the music kicked in and we got the Speedball bits in there, like everybody was buzzing, yeah.
Great sign-in. Great match, great moment. Big fan of the guy. He is, of course, Pablo's favorite wrestler. There they are hanging out the other year. I'm chuffed for him. He's been a journeyman who has absolutely been on the precipice of something great for a long time. And I feel like this is the start of something really good for him. And, you know, in terms of where he was going to land next, I think AEW and the way in which AEW is structured, I think is a really good fit for Mike Bailey.
Yes,
a really good fit.
Do you think he wins the entire Eliminator tournament and then goes up against against Kenny Omega at the end.
I think if you're going to debut him here, I think put him in there against Omega at Dynasty.
Would be a bloody good match as well between them two.
Looking ahead to next week, as well as the mulligan between Cope and Mox, we're getting what is a dream match, certainly for one of the competitors.
Yes. So last night on Dynamite, Billy Starks came face to face with a TBS champion, Mercedes Moné, in a backstage segment. Moné was invited to a meeting by Starks, and Starks stated her case for a title match against Moné. I think we saw her at Revolution as well. She was watching that there match on that there television at that there angle. Mercedes laughed this off, saying that Starks was out of the league, but agreed to the match anyway. It wasn't confirmed though if this would be a title match, not just yet at least. Anyway,
I feel like this isn't so much building towards Billy Starks, a feud between Billy Starks and Mercedes Moné. I think it's building for something between Mercedes Moné and Athena.
Ah, you've got me. That's what I was going to say as well. Yeah, I think that too. It didn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel right at this point in time for it to be Billy Starks to take the TBS title away from Mercedes Moné, but maybe something considering Athena very well could be on the cards.
A Moné-Athena match would be delightful.
Oh, it'd be amazing. It would be so good.
Absolutely be a thing. That's something that could be on the horizon. A little further on the horizon is AEW All In Texas. And Will Ospreay has stated his case for headlining the show. Last night, a banged up Will Ospreay declared that he wants to win the AEW World title. He wants to do it at All In Texas. And in order to get there, he's going to win the Owen Hart Cup. And that essentially is the first proper nod of the year for the Owen.
Yes.
So Will establishing himself and therefore punching his ticket into the Owen for this year and presumably headlining All in Texas.
Which would be really nice in that he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet recently as well. And he was talking about, there was little similarities between what he was talking about on that show and then what he was talking about in the promo as well, in terms of like, he thinks that the AEW fans trust him to be the guy to carry the company. I think he's proven that he's more than capable of doing so as well in the matches that he's had since going to AEW too. He feels like that guy, in my opinion. And whether he finally snags it at All In Texas remains to be seen, but I think he's definitely He more than capable of doing so. He
looks like he's having fun.
He does. He really does. Absolutely. And he's like really... Obviously, he was very established as it was before he came to AEW with everything that he's done in New Japan as well. But there's just something else. There's something a little more about him now that I think he's really grown into. And yeah, no, it remains to be seen. I'm very, very happy, and I'd like to see it at least anyway.
Possibly Will Ospreay becoming world champion by the summer if he gets to All In. And we had a new champion crown this week in WWE. We'll end on this one. It was at the theatre in Madison Square Garden. What a location for wrestling.
Who would have thunk it, huh?
It looked great. The lighting that was on an angle.
It looked very nice. Very nice.
More shows there.
Agreed.
Agreed. Beautiful. And it was the main event of that show that saw Stephanie Vaquer win the women's title from Julia and retain her own North American title as well. Double champ. Very few of those in history. Wrestling Observer reporting that not only was it Julia's injury that led to this match happening quite quickly, but also they report there are some minor visa issues with Julia as well, which also expedited why this match took place, because we kind of went, why are they doing this match now? This seems like a big match that you would have at the very least for Stand and Deliver, at the very most for much further down the road. But they kind of got to it very quickly, and we thought something's up here, and then we heard that Julia was suffering an injury, and it's come out as well that there is a few sort of administrative things that need to be sorted. So it might mean that Julia potentially disappears from NXT for a little bit. I feel like just as she got the momentum going.
Yeah, no, that's how it felt, didn't it? As you said, for the longest time, we were like, this feels like it's sort of being fast-tracked, this match, like already. But regardless, I hope the visa issues can get sorted out, and I hope the injury stuff as well isn't super bad, so we can see her back very, very soon.
And off the races we go with Stephanie Vaquer as a double champ.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that too, because we've mentioned that as well. Sometimes they don't book double champs very well, but I mean, we've only just started, so let's see where we go with it.
We've only just begun. You want to go back in time to 1997, myself and Sam Driver on the Cultaholic Classic Nitro review today. We are back. We're on the way to Slamboree February 97.
Ooh.
Watching every episode of Nitro week to week. You can get us on the podcast feed and have me and Sam Driver in your ears later on today as well. Anything you want to plug?
I got nothing to plug, Tom. I just can't wait to have you and Sam Driver in my ears.
You pervert.
Disgusting.
And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Keys.
I love you. Bye.
Yep.